Okay, well, we're into a new week, and this is Universal Design for Learning Applied. And so you're going to have some readings, and these are going to be mainly some websites from the udlcenter.org website with the different principles of Universal Design for Learning. So we have Principle 1, provide multiple means of representation. And again, this means giving our students different ways as we present information to them, or as they receive information, that information is presented in different ways. So if we're learning about fractions, for instance, you might teach that as a whole class lecture, but you might also teach that in a different way. You might show them a video or some kind of interactive activity that they are able to learn that from as well. So this will give you some guidelines from the principal and talk about the different checkpoints and so forth. It's actually quite an involved reading this week. But the main thing is that you need to think about is, supporting those overall principles of providing multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement. So you'll read about Principle 2 as well, provide multiple means of action and expression. And this means providing multiple ways that students can engage with the material. So not just learn from the material or learn it from you, but also for them to act and express their own knowledge. So maybe there's different ways, different options for them to express that knowledge back to you. Maybe there's different options for, as it mentions here, physical action or expression and communication or executive functions as well. So those are the different readings that you'll have. And then Principle 3, multiple means of engagement. And you'll have different options for recruiting interest maybe, or gaining and sustaining effort and persistence and self-regulation. Those are more of the, I guess what I would call them is the more internal ones to the student, helping them to be interested in things mentally and sustain effort and persistence and so forth. So there's a lot to read about this week as you get into the deeper, I think, meanings of universal design for learning. And then we have a couple of videos about learning styles. So you might have heard about learning styles in your experience, especially if you're a teacher. This idea that every student has a certain learning style. So let's say some examples of the learning styles might be that you are a kinesthetic learner, meaning you need to move around in order to learn something, or an auditory learner, meaning that you are good at that you like to learn things by hearing. Or maybe you're a visual learner. A lot of people have talked about being a visual learner, where you learn things best when you are able to visualize them well. So there's some problems though with this theory of learning styles, and that's what I like to debunk in this class as well. The theory really predicts that if you are a visual learner, you will always learn things best visually. In other words, if you're a teacher in a classroom with some visual learners, you must present that material in a visual way in order for students to learn. Or again, if you're an auditory learner, you must present the material in an auditory way for those students to learn best. The theory predicts that auditory learners will always learn best when they are presented with information that's auditory. But there are some real problems with this theory that will be pointed out in the videos that you'll watch this week, talking about how, well, if it's ridiculous to try to present some material always in an auditory way, such as the location, let's say, of a country, as I think the example that it gives there, or a certain procedure for fixing an engine, let's say. You can't really present that auditorily. It doesn't make any sense to try to show the parts of the engine, or try not to show the parts of the engine, but just to tell about them. So there are some problems with the theory and how it breaks down. So there's a little bit of videos watching about that. So the research really doesn't support the whole learning styles you must teach in a certain way for certain students. But there is good research that supports this universal design for learning idea where you but where you should present materials in different ways to reach your different students. And it helps because you can present it in multiple ways to help them to represent, learn, and understand the material. All right, and then at the end of this week, if you are able to, please submit the Universal Design for Learning plan, and that is the opportunity for you to take a lesson plan, revise that lesson plan, and add some Universal Design for Learning items into it, so providing more means of representation, action, and expression or engagement. using technology, and then try that out with your class. And just talk about what challenges you experienced, what successes you experienced, and also redesign ideas. Now, again, this is a week. There's some of you probably have testing going on or have been doing that. Others of you might have other things going on. So if this is not a good week to submit this, just let me know, and we can go a little bit later in the semester if you need more time to submit this assignment because of being able to present it in a class. So that's the assignment that's due at the end of this week. If you can get it done by the end of this week, that's great. But let me know if you can't, and we can be flexible with that because obviously people have different things going on in their classes at this time. So I think that's about it. Hopefully spring will come in South Dakota. It's coming slowly, maybe. Winter has almost released its evil grip on the area. But I hope that you have a wonderful week, and good luck on the work for this week.